The introduction of a new bill could make Wisconsin the first and only state in the nation to eliminate adverse possession. We'll have all the details. Keep it right here. Your real estate news starts now. Thank you for watching the Real Estate News. I'm your host, Stacey Hansen. Let's look at your headlines. A proposed legislation would eliminate adverse possession in Wisconsin, and if enacted into law, it would make Wisconsin the first and only state in the country to do so. Adverse possession allows someone to claim title on a piece of land based on their detectable use of a property for a certain period of time. The individual must demonstrate that the property was used continuously for 20 years in an open and continuous manner detectable by the true owner. The Wisconsin Realtors Association reports that the most common types of adverse possession are when a fence, garage, or building is built over the lot line by several inches or even a few feet. The proposed legislation would eliminate this ability to acquire title to property through adverse possession. There are some exceptions. For example, if a court is unable to identify or locate the record title owner, or if a principal building has been located on the property for the requisite amount of time. The bill was introduced by Senator Chris Capena of Delafield and Representative Dave Craig of Big Bend. Today's buyers have some of the highest credit scores ever, and purchase mortgage originations are up too. As of the second quarter of 2015, they were up 15% over the previous year. And as CNBC Real Estate reports, high credit borrowers, those whose credit scores are above 700, are behind the vast majority of this surge in purchase applications. In fact, the average credit score for purchases has hit a record high of 755. Purchase volumes are seeing the largest growth in homes valued between $150,000 and $349,000. Stay tuned, we have more coming up right after this. And welcome back. Up next is Kirsten Goggin and Savannah Hauglid from Century 21 Affiliated. Welcome back, ladies. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Hi.
Thanks. Good to be back.
So what's new? It's been a little while. Any new listings? What's going on in your world?
Yeah, I was going to go over my top 2 listings for this week. We have got 4313 Grosbeak Glen, and that is in Windsor, so low town of Windsor, Texas. It's on a quiet cul-de-sac, backs up to green space, and it's large enough for the biggest of families. There's 6 bedrooms, 3 full baths, 2 half baths, just shy of 3,800 square feet. No detail was left unupgraded. I mean, everything is top finish. There's tile, beautiful hardwood floors, granite in every room, tray ceilings, all kinds of you have to see it to really appreciate it. That's for sure. And then 2257 Manley Drive in the town of Sun Prairie. So again, low town of Sun Prairie taxes. And this one backs up again to green space. And it's a half duplex. It's listed at $175. I should have mentioned Grosbeak Glen is listed for $399.9. But Manley Drive is 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and it's just shy of 1,800 square feet, 2-car garage. And this one, it might actually be going pretty quick. We've got some interested parties, so if it sounds like it's something you're interested in, get in there to see it right away.
Sounds good. Now, I hear you're looking ahead to spring a little bit, which seems so far away, but you're asking people to meet with you now?
Yes. Well, last time I was on it, I talked about doing an incentive if you list in the fall and winter, which again is not a bad time to list. It's a good time to list, but for a lot of people, I know it just doesn't make sense with schools and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to extend that to spring sellers. If you're thinking of selling in the spring, if you meet with me now or before the end of the year, I will extend that special onto you. I have different tiered packages. All of my packages come standard, even the basic one with professional photography, which include over 25 professional photos, which really make a difference. A video tour, which zooms in from Google Earth. It's really, really incredible. It's top notch. And that's on my basic package. But if you meet with me before the end of the year, even if you don't list until the spring, number one, I can help you go over some things that you might want to do in preparation for getting your home ready for sale. And then also I will include your very own commercial right here on CW that will run until it sells, and just your property. And also your own property website. So that there I can have unlimited photos, and the commercial can be on there, and that helps drive traffic to me, the listing agent, to hopefully sell it representing you. But of course, we always welcome buyer's agents. Whoever's going to bring the buyer to get your house sold, that's what we want to do. So exposure.
That sounds great. Now that video tour, I'm interested in that. Is that just the outside of your property then, or how does that work?
No, it starts from Google Earth, so it zooms in, especially like for grosbeak. If you go on kjsalesmadison.com and you click on any of the virtual tours, you'll be able to see it. But it's really nice because it shows the lot. It shows that it's on a quiet cul-de-sac and that there's green space behind it. It's kind of neat. Kind of gives you an idea of how packed or not packed all the homes are to each other. So it's kind of neat.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do before you take the time to decide if you want to come out and look at it. You can sort of see it in advance.
Yeah, and it's not one of those panoramic slideshows of the room where it gets all fish-eyed in the corners. It actually is a video walkthrough, so you get a feel for the floor plan as you're watching the video. So it's really neat.
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely take a look at some of those. Savannah, I don't want to leave you out of this. It's been a little while since you've been here. We've met you before, but for our new viewers, could you reintroduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Savannah Hauglid, and I'm Kirsten Goggin's buyer specialist. And basically, I'm going to be working with the buyers on, obviously, the buying side, trying to find a house that best suits your needs, and trying to make your life as stress-free as possible. Because obviously this is a big purchase in your life, and that's my job. That's where I come in and try to make that as fun and stress-free as possible. And typically people think that when you go to buy a house that the transaction ends when you close on your house, when you get the keys. And that's not the case. I'm going to make sure that if you have any questions at all, that you can come to me and I can answer those for you. Just make sure that I am always available to current and past clients and future, obviously.
Well, and we throw you a housewarming party, so
yeah.
So you have to stay in contact with us to get your beer.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Well, thanks so much, lady. Pleasure as always.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Stay tuned. We'll have more coming up right after this. And welcome back. My next guest is Dave Growls. He's a senior mortgage originator at Waterstone Mortgage. Welcome, Dave.
Thanks, Stacy.
So, talking about mortgages today, no surprise. Now, some people see having enough money as being a big obstacle for them to overcome in being able to get a home. How much do people really need to put down in order to buy?
That's a great question, Stacy. There's a common misconception now that you have to put down 20% to buy a home, and that's just not true. I mean, we have some programs that we can actually still do no money down with.
Are you looking at a higher interest rate then when you do something like that?
No, actually the rates on the no money down programs are quite favorable. Now, of course, they have different terms that you have to qualify for. Some of them have income restrictions, but you certainly can do a loan with no money down.
What about private mortgage insurance? Doesn't that come into play when you've got not quite enough put down?
The private mortgage insurance, anytime you put less than 20% down, you're required to pay private mortgage insurance unless you find other creative ways around it, which is something we kind of specialize in. You can actually buy out the mortgage insurance on a lot of the loans so that you pay a one-time fee and then you don't have the private mortgage insurance during the loan. You can also sometimes do a first and a second mortgage to avoid PMI.
Any drawbacks with doing that?
No drawbacks at all. It's actually a great way if you can afford to put a little bit of the money down up front to buy the mortgage insurance out. You can actually have a big monthly savings.
Now, looking at some other savings, do you offer any of the government loans that are out there?
We do. We offer FHA loans, VA loans. We do WIDA loans. So we have basically every type of loan that you can imagine right now. Waterstone Mortgage does it.
So people could pretty much come to you, say, this is my situation, what can you do for me?
That's exactly right.
Okay. Now, what if you wanted to just do no money down whatsoever? Is that possible?
Yes, actually with a WIDA loan, you could do a 97% loan and they can do a second loan behind it for 3%, so it's technically 100% financing. VA financing is no money down at all.
So at what point would you tell somebody, you know, it's not a good idea to do this, you know, maybe you should put a little bit more money down? Where would you draw the line?
It would really depend on somebody's particular situation. The best way to evaluate that is to actually go through it together, set up a private consultation and talk through everything. Everybody's situation is a little bit different.
So just a second left here. How do you start the process with you guys?
Best way to start the process is to give us a call at 234-5118.
Sounds great. Well, thanks so much for stopping by. It's always wonderful to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
And stay tuned. We have more coming up right after this. And welcome back. My next guests are Scott Billings and Tom Lavick. They're the owners of Wisconsin Home Inspection Professionals, WIP, better known as. So guys, nice to meet you. It's the first time I'm meeting you. So tell me about your business. How did you end up working together in this?
I've known Tom for a long, long time. We both ended up leaving up careers and decided that we wanted to do something together. And home inspection, based on our background, was just a perfect fit.
So what was your background?
My background is a lot of automotive, but also a lot of building. And Tom has more of
a business and electronics background.
So you've got a little bit of both there. So you're offering home inspections for folks. Now this is something that money's tight for a lot of people nowadays. It's something that you've got to pay for. Why do it?
Well, short answer is peace of mind. You're exactly right. Most people's houses are the biggest purchase they'll ever make, and you know, you want to find out what's wrong, if anything, with the house before you sign on the dotted line.
So you'd say it's worth it in the long run. Are you sometimes finding, you know, problems that would have been really expensive if it hadn't been found?
That's really kind of the whole point of the home inspection, to get today's look at what the condition of the house is prior to making a purchase, so that if you look and find out you've got an old roof or a faulty furnace or a bad water heater or something, those things are typically discovered during home inspection.
So talk us through it. What do you guys do? You come to the house and do you look outside first, inside? How does it all go?
Well, we work as a team. We try to stick together. We want the customer to be with us when we do the inspection. Follow along, ask questions, but we start on the outside. Tom generally goes up on the roof, takes a look at the roof coverings, flashings, things like that, and I'll take the customer along the outside of the home, take a look at the exterior, and from there move to the inside and start looking at the different systems in the house.
So, kind of curious, are there any things that you see, problems that you see over and over again?
Some of the typical things we see are like vegetation on the outside of the house in contact, which can lead to issues down the road. A lot of water around the house from lack of downspouts or eave extensions. You'll find cover plates missing, electrical boxes open. Things like that are somewhat common.
Are they fairly easy to fix then?
A lot of time, yeah. It's surprising. The majority of things that we find aren't huge repair items. We do come across those once in a while, cracked foundations, things like that. But mostly it's like a cover plate might be missing from an electrical outlet, or there might be a leak under a sink. But you know, collectively those things add up, and you want to take care of them before you make the purchase.
You talked a little bit about vegetation too. Are you talking about maybe trees that are getting a little too close to the house, or other things too?
Yeah, trees and shrubs, you know, anything planted close to the house that comes in contact with the siding.
Oh, okay, so it's more the siding that gets impacted by that?
Yeah, the roof can be if you have large overhanging trees, yeah.
Okay, so let's say the inspection is completed. Does the customer get a list of what's wrong and ideas on how to fix it, or how do you work that?
Well, we use an electronic program or software called Home Gauge, and that allows us to put a lot of pictures in the report, and they'll get the report sent to them by email. They get a password and a link to go to. From that point, they can print it, download it, forward it on to their agent or a mortgage lender, or you know, whoever else would need to view the report. But the software that we use is really nice. It allows them to take a picture and blow it up and to really get a good look, like if you're in a crawl space where it might be a dark picture. So there are some advantages to using that software.
Well, that sounds great. Well, thanks so much for stopping by today, guys. Got a lot of good information from you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And stay tuned. We have more coming up right after this. And welcome back to the Real Estate News. Up next is Becky Anderson, the owner and manager of Tresta on the Water. Welcome back, Becky. Always a pleasure to have you here.
Hi, Stacy. It's been good to be back.
So what have you got available right now at Tresta?
We've got 1 bedroom, 1 bath apartments. They range from 1150, which is 560 square feet, up to 1350 with a den for 773 square feet. 2 bedroom, 2 bath. We call it our standard. We have those. And then we do have the penthouses, which are 3 bedroom, 2 bath. They run 2,200 to 2,500, and they're like almost 1,900 square feet. And we have some of each. The most we have are 1 bedrooms, although we're selling out of the ones that face the water, and 2 bedrooms.
So you mentioned a den too. The den was in the 1 bedrooms?
Yes, it's a corner unit, and it's a den, and then it has a barn door. We have barn doors in every unit, so it's the door to the den. And it's a corner unit, so you've got a balcony that overlooks the water and the boat launch, and it's got windows. Because it's a corner, it's got a lot of windows.
Oh, that's got to be nice. And it's like getting another extra room too, which is really cool.
Right.
And you've got a lot of awesome features and services there we've talked about before. Could you bring us, our other viewers up to speed on that if they have not seen it?
Yes, it's contemporary. The project is contemporary, and it's got the open floor plan where the kitchen island divides the kitchen from the living room, and that kitchen is in whether you've got a 1 bedroom or a 1,800 square foot penthouse. The kitchens are all the same. They come with the energy efficient appliances, granite countertops. Every unit either has a balcony or a patio. Let's see, what else have we got? We have a tech center, which is a small area where you can put your, it's got a USB port where you can put your electronics, so it's not just floating around the apartment in the way. And I mentioned the barn doors. We have a washer and dryer in every unit. And there's storage available. And we have underground and surface parking.
Wow, amazing. I mean, really, what more could you ask for? And then your other features too, restaurants and pet spas and all of that. It's just basically a resort that you're living in right there.
Right, we call it Love Where You Live, because you don't have to leave. You can go to the restaurant, you can go to the yoga. Now we have the yoga person coming in and the fitness center person coming in, so you can just stay there and work from home. Never leave.
Yeah, who needs a vacation? Well, thanks so much, Becky. Always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. We have more coming up right after this. And welcome back. Up next is Kevin Clark. He's a realtor at Keller Williams. Welcome, Kevin. So tell us about yourself. How did you become a realtor?
Yeah, well, I was teaching mathematics actually for the last 15 years, and just decided I wanted something a little bit more. The bureaucracy kind of got the best of me, and thought, I really wanted to help people get their dreams while staying within their means. That's kind of my slogan. And a big part of people's dreams is a home.
So mathematics, huh? That's kind of a jump, yeah.
Yep.
but cool, good to have two sides. So why is it so important to you to work with people and do this?
Yeah, well, I really like helping people, and that was why I got into teaching in the first place. And when all the bureaucracy got, into teaching, it didn't seem like I had the chance to help people like I wanted to. And now I just like helping people get out of debt and stay out of debt and just kind of go after, what they really truly want in their life.
So, okay, that makes sense. I see the connection now, helping people, sure. So achieving people's dreams. Let's talk about that. People have certain means they got to live within. You want them to make wise decisions. How do you propose to help them do that?
Yeah, well, I've gone through what's called a financial fitness program a couple of times, my wife and I, and we just really learned to figure out, what's the difference between an investment and an expense, and how to live within our means, and just really keep track of our finances, what we're spending, what we're bringing in, and making sure that, our expenses are lower than what we're bringing in.
So how do you help your clients do that?
Well, my goal is to sit down with a client and go through the normal stuff. If they're a first-time home buyer looking for a home, I'll ask them the standard questions that most realtors will ask. I'll ask them, what are you looking for? How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? Where do you want the house? But eventually I want to put that aside once we get that set, and I said, all right, now that we know what you want today, what do you want 20 years from now? And go through that and really get them to establish what the dream is so we can focus on that. And then I want to walk them through how to get there and maybe not get over-mortgaged in the end.
So what are your qualifications then?
Well, I have my mathematics degree, obviously, and then I also have my MBA that I got through Edgewood College, and just really been involved in numbers my whole life.
Yeah, and numbers is definitely a huge part of the real estate business. Just a couple seconds left. Any tips for us?
Yeah, well, I would say the biggest thing, if you're looking for the best investment, I would invest in yourself. Become a lifelong learner. Really, dive into being a better parent, better husband, and a better leader, and that'll go a long way.
And that'll go a long way towards helping you achieve your dreams as well.
You bet.
Well, thanks so much. It was a very positive experience talking with you today.
Thank you.
Hope to see you again soon. And stay tuned, we have more coming up right after this. From all of us here, I want to thank our guests for stopping by and all of you for tuning in to your real estate news. I'm Stacy Hansen. We'll see you next time.